Hello, Internet. I'm new to this, but I'm really freaking out and need to get this off my chest. I've been dealing with something strange that may have gone too far, and I don't know what to do. Maybe someone here can make me make sense of it. For the better part of 15 years, I've been working as a geophysicist at a university up in Big Sky. My career was on a pretty good path until that path, well, led to a wall or a cliff. I'm still not sure which. Bad choices, missed opportunities, you know how it goes. I ended up in a stuffy university basement, sorting through old seismograph data from students and professors who left or died a long time ago. It was boring, but it kept me busy. That's when I noticed something weird. A small blip on one of the old seismograph sheets, just a tiny spike that didn't match anything I'd seen before. At first, I thought it was a miscalculation. After all, it was old data. But then I realized it kept happening in all the data exactly every 10 years. Before I knew it, I was at the bottom of the stack of the sheets, the most recent data being from 1974. I know how it sounds, some washed up earthquake nerd obsessing over ghosts, but this was different. The anomalies didn't match any known geological activity. They didn't make any sense. I spent sleepless nights going over the data, trying to find a pattern. It was like trying to solve a puzzle with missing pieces. I didn't tell anyone who would care, but I couldn't let it go. It became my obsession. Then I realized something incredible. These anomalies weren't random. They were linked somehow, forming a pattern that didn't fit with our understanding of geophysics. It's hard to explain, but it felt like these blips were connected by something. And that's when things got really weird. My obsession with these anomalies really started affecting me. I began seeing flickering shadows that didn't belong, hearing strange noises throughout the day. I've been telling myself it's just stress, but it feels so real, so visceral. Then, after months of work, I had a breakthrough. These anomalies, they weren't just random data spikes, they were ripples in time, and my data didn't lie. Somehow these blips were moments where time itself was bending or breaking. This discovery has the potential to not only save my career, but launch it further than I could ever have dreamed. So, over the past couple of weeks, I built a small, crude machine in my apartment with parts I borrowed from the university that could replicate these ripples on a smaller scale. Think of an uglier, more crude VHS player, but with the tape tray at the top. The first test was with a new shiny penny. I put it in the machine and activated it. The coin disappeared and then reappeared a few seconds later, but it wasn't the same. It was aged, corroded like it had lived 1,000 years in those few seconds. I sent more objects through, each time pushing further, and each time they came back different, twisted, wrong. There was no way time was the only factor at play. 2 days ago, I sent something else through, a small hand mirror. What I saw when it came back, the reflection was twisted, showing me thick vines of flesh wrapping a turf of hair. But the worst part was realizing I was seeing myself, older, scared, and disfigured, mumbling something I couldn't understand. The machine started to emit a low, trembling hum, growing louder and more intense by the minute. I knew I should have stopped, but I couldn't. I had to know how to stop myself from turning into that abomination. I started recording everything. At first, it was just the machines and the objects, but soon the recording started to show things I hadn't noticed before. Light shafts moving too fast, objects in my apartment suddenly shifting or replacing when I wasn't looking. Last night, I bolted awake to find my apartment in a completely different state. Furniture was replaced, and objects that I didn't own were scattered around. Things like a rotary phone with a digital interface, a dusty, moth-eaten coat with what looked like burn marks on the elbows, and most importantly, a cracked picture of a family I didn't recognize. A small boy, 4 or 5, with blonde hair is sticking his tongue out while mom and dad are smiling none the wiser. I recognized the large garden they stood in was at my university. They must have lived here while studying or teaching at the university. I looked up and saw the ripples starting to spread beyond my apartment. I've seen them outside, in the hallway, distorting the walls and floor. Time is bleeding into everything, and nobody else is reacting to it. I decided the best thing to do was head to the university and figure out the rest on my way. Anything to get out of the apartment. As I rushed outside my building, I started to realize the sky is a color I've never seen before. Like, it's been drained of all warmth. I made my way down the wooded path to the university, the trees bigger but less saturated than I'd ever seen them. As I got closer, I saw a large building taking the place of the once full, stuffy hall I worked in. The building is named Carter Memorial Time Lab, and my last faculty photograph displayed on a large video board in the lobby. Everything I've ever dreamed of, the father of time manipulation, a plague red. I turned to see the reactions of the students and professors as I turned to the next video board. I nearly fell when one girl walked right into me, and then through me. I've been panicked all day, screaming in people's faces, throwing things at them, but nothing works. I grabbed a chair someone was sitting in, but realized I could truly make no impact when she didn't fall. The only thing that I can interact with are old binary devices, antiqued things running on only ones and zeros. If anyone is reading this, if you can still reach me, please help. I think I'm slipping through time, and I don't know how I can find my way back. Hope you guys enjoyed today's story. Thank you a million for listening. Now, huge thanks to the Redditor /Evan Carter 1972 for granting me permission to narrate your awesome story. And as always, continue to write more. Now, before I do end this off, I want to say I do miss narrating, and I'm happy to be back. I can't say that I'll be back for good, but I'm back. I missed you guys. Yeah. Once more, I hope you guys enjoyed today's story, and thank you so much for listening. Now, don't forget to sit back, relax, and indulge in fear.